In the personal story segment tonight, a former Washington Redskins cheerleader who was once the picture of health can barely even talk anymore after getting a seasonal flu shot. 26-year-old Desiree Jennings was one of those rare souls who apparently suffered a life-altering side effect from a flu shot. WTTG reporter Claudia Coffey picks up the story.
Her life changed forever on August the 23rd when she says she got a seasonal flu shot at a local grocery store.
I was training for a half marathon and it all went so fast.
10 days after receiving the shot, she came down with the flu. After that, her health spiraled downwards. She started passing out and had to be hospitalized twice. She now has difficulty speaking, walking, even eating. During our interview, she had several seizures. The effects are irreversible.
All this comes as the Centers for Disease Control are trying to calm fears about the seasonal flu shot and the H1N1 vaccine. In fact, a new Fox News poll shows that overall, 44% of Americans say they plan to get vaccinated against the H1N1 virus, but that's down from 53% last month. However, of the 46% of the public who say they are very or somewhat concerned about personally catching the virus, 66% plan to get vaccinated. Joining us now from Baltimore is Dr. Lee Vinokur from the University of Maryland School of Medicine. Dr. Vinokur, how often does someone who gets the flu shot have the kind of adverse reaction that we've seen with this young former Redskins cheerleader?
Well, first of all, I researched the literature extensively, and I could not find where anyone had ever reported this type of dystonic reaction that they were talking about. And consequently, the University of Maryland School of Medicine, the head of their neurology department, had called me because a couple of movement disorder experts had been looking at this video, and they all really feel that this is possibly psychogenic, meaning that it isn't caused from the flu, it isn't caused from the vaccine. It doesn't mean she can help herself and that it's voluntary. She obviously has some problems, but in fact, he told me they're using it to illustrate for the neurology residents a psychogenic disorder, a movement
When
disorder.
you say psychogenic, are you saying she's crazy, that this is made up in her mind?
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying people sometimes have these reactions to any kind of illness where they get psychosomatic symptoms that are real symptoms, but they are not attributed to that. They're attributed to other things, and they can't help themselves. But this was, you know, the head of neurology at University of Maryland, Dr. William Weiner. He conferred with experts at Hopkins, and they all feel that this is not, and you can't find in the literature this type of reaction from a flu vaccine. So with that said, 36,000 people die of the flu every year, okay? There are sometimes some bad reactions, and if you get enough numbers of people getting flu vaccines and the pandemic H1N1, there will be reactions. It's just, I couldn't find anything in the literature that talked about this type of dystonic reaction. So I'm not sure what's going on.
But there were fears. I'm thinking back to 1976, the swine flu, and then, you know, I'm thinking back that people thought there was, I think it's Guillain-Barré
Guillain-Barré syndrome.
Right.
You're right.
Okay,
that is a neurologic complication. That's a devastating one where you get paralysis that ascends
All right,
up.
so
But
Dr.
that's
Vinokur.
true.
Okay, so Dr. Vinokur, in that case, the flu vaccine had an adverse effect on someone. Why not in this case?
Well, I'm just saying this type of adverse reaction and what we saw was not one that we've ever seen from the flu. But with that said, there will be bad reactions. But that's vaccinations. You're always weighing the public health, individual rights.
What percentage? Quickly, what percentage of people who get the shot?
It's a very low percentage. Millions of people are getting the shot. Very few people. There's no registered dystonia like this ever.
So Lee Vinokur, if you were talking to me, you'd say, Juan, get the flu shot.
You need to get the flu shot. You need to protect yourself from H1N1. They're very safe vaccines. We give them to millions of people every single year. She's had them in the past, never had a problem.
Doctor, thank you.